We're at Curb 43 on Music Square East. Is it Music Square? Music Square West or East? One of the two.
Hello everyone, this is the Reverend Zach Mears here. I'm being interviewed by my good friend Elijah Settles, and he's going to ask me a lot of tough questions today, and we're going to have a great time with it. Can we get TJ out of here? No, you got to leave, man. If you just want to be in there, that's fine. But you got to shut the door entirely. Well, I think it starts at the very beginning. Before we made any of this music, it really starts at the beginning of me and James's relationship years ago, because I think that musically we're kind of inseparable at this point, you know. And he'll have the genesis of an idea, and then I come in and we work on it together. Or we don't, I come in at the very end, but I'm always around for some part of it. Richard Petty, while we're on the subject,
I think the very first moment that it really set in for me that this was going to happen was, I think we were in Belgium, and we were in the dressing room, and James looks at me and he's like, "Hey, I got this song that I want to show you, and I don't know about the words quite yet, but I love the song and I wanna dig into it." And for whatever reason, I don't know why it hit me at that moment, but it did right then, and I knew that we were about to make a record, something that was really gonna be defining for us. It was scary looking at it at first. I mean, you know, when we got home, we didn't have all the songs, and we weren't sure what it was gonna sound like, and all those sort of things. And I think out of that, you know, it wasn't necessarily last minute, but you know, out of the need to create, we ended up putting together something that was really beautiful and more than we thought, you know. And that's, man, yeah, maybe I'm kind of having that moment now, thinking back on the past couple of months.
That's just the amp, and I was thinking we start there. If we want some dirty stuff, we go for like a pedal in front of it or something. You know, like the first few days were hard because I was trying to find where the boundary was, so I wasn't pushing anybody's limits, and I also wasn't kind of just being an asshole that was like kind of not saying anything. And there were moments where like I might have been perceived as an asshole not saying anything, and I was just trying to figure out what was going on. But it wasn't weird per se, because I spend plenty of time in the studio not being a producer. But this is music that I'm more attached to than others, because it's, you know, it's a band that I've produced in the past many times. And it was, we started to find a happy medium by like day 3. You know, because Zach is always wanting my input, and I'm happy to give it. And, you know, I just had to decide when something was really good to tell them it was really good, and if something was really shit, I kind of kept my mouth shut because they kind of knew.
Bring it up. Let's see it.
hello, Zach Mears here. This is day 1 of recording for James Bruner.
Did you hear my explanation about
my buddy David?
Superbird?
And nobody knows what the hell's going on, but we're gonna do something. You know, I think that in the studio, everyone has ideas, and it's almost like a fight for whose idea is gonna be the best. And the choices you make and what you want to really push for, that's hard stuff to decide when you have 5 or 6 other guys all with their own vision of how this song should be. And I don't know, you pick your battles and you win some and you lose some.
Yeah, I think that especially since we were able to go on tour together, it's really helped me to understand the dynamic of where Sam is going to go, or where Zach's going to go, or James, and it's cool to develop my own understanding of, okay, I'm going to follow what Zach's doing here, I'm going to follow what Sam's doing, or James as well, in terms of melody, and kind of breaking away from the bass line, you know, what I'm kind of doing the whole song, to be able to then create that movement or create that difference.
The highs and lows of recording are an endless river. I'd say vocally is probably the hardest place I'm at, you know, in the studio and just creating in general, because I have an amazing team around me, but, you know, my band is a lot more collaborative than a lot of, I think, other solo artists, and I think that's a thing to be celebrated, and a thing that I love about, you know, my project. The thing I've struggled with most in the studio is getting burnt out. I think a lot of us can relate to that. Everyone that's been a part of this journey can relate to being a little bit burnt out, but at the core, it's all love. You know, we're here for each other, and having my band here to lift me up when I'm getting super tired and my ears are burnt out on hearing the same thing over and over. And no matter how many squeals I have in the vocal booth, they're here to bring me back to earth.
Ooh. Say it.
Oh.
He said, oh. There we go.
There was a point coming into this thing where I was really concerned because, you know, some of these songs didn't have lyrics or lyrics that were thought out or anything. And for a second I thought, man, we could really go blow this, you know, and blow this opportunity. And this is really like the future of our lives right here. And I would hate to see it messed up. But we got it together. And as far as performance and just being James, like, he's never let me down with that kind of thing.
Whenever we're listening to these, I can very much see just in my head James performing it and all of us performing it and like hitting all these spots with each other. And I think visually that's what I think of. And I think of like whenever James has a part that's a little like we were working on earlier where it's really wispy and like kind of got that sexy groove to it. I'm like, I can just imagine all of us like getting into that moment and then just like going into the chorus and it's big there and just like I that's one of the things that I really miss about being out on the road and playing the songs is that I just miss the energy that we bring to it. And I think that's like what I envision in here is I'm like, okay, we've been in here for 2 weeks and I'm getting to a point where I'm like, all right, we're listening to the same thing over and over, we're doing all these things, but like I also can take the step back and be like, all right, when these are out, then we get to go on the road and we get to just like hammer them with people and people are going to love it because we put on a show.
Performing live, I thrive. I have the time of my life when I play live, plain and simple. And if I ever do get nervous, it goes away when I walk out there anyway.
It's got the power. Like, there's a lot that I really do like about it.
Yeah, this is a great song. It's turned out good.
It just feels like it's just like you're counting, basically. So
That,
1, 2,
well, I
3,
fucking am, which
right,
is
and
wrong.
it's-
I need to let it go.
But just get a little more intense on it.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, I need to let it go. I am thinking about it too much.
We've started to gravitate towards this workflow where it was very much like a let's play together as a band and we'll keep what we can keep, especially if it's a really amazing performance. But also, let's take this kind of one step at a time. Let's get the drums and the bass kind of at the same time to lock those things in. And then we're going to do guitars and we're going to layer them and they're going to feel really good. And then we're going to do some extra overdubs, ear candy, stuff like that to, you know, kind of complete. Because you know, rock and roll and this genre of music is such a band-oriented thing that I think everyone wanted to hear the band sound amazing without a vocal on it. Because they knew once James got on it and sang, it would be awesome, regardless of what was already on there. But they wanted to kind of make sure that everything was like, this is the coolest band track I've ever heard.
anytime you record music, it's sort of like a snapshot of who you are in that moment. And it's nostalgic. I mean, you could be nostalgic with music that you didn't make. Everybody can relate to that, but music you do make, it brings you right back to where you were. And I'd like to look back on it fondly and not have a lot of things. Like, the big problem that you run into making music is that you hear choices that you wish you wouldn't have made. And I'm trying to avoid that, and I've mostly gotten my way on those things where I feel like it's going to be something that in 5 years I'm going to hate. Let's not do it. And we'll see how many vocal effects they put on Red Light.
Wouldn't that be cool if that was my guitar playing right now? When I hit those pedals.
I kind of like that. Don't mind the bass player. He doesn't know what the hell's going on.
What's up?
Can you play your bass like you're
You know, it would not be the same if we weren't working on lyrics the night before or in the session, or if Zach, you know, needed a different environment to play his guitar solos in or something. I mean, he sat right there in that chair and just did it. I don't know if he had ever done it before. You know, he just did it. And yeah, and there's something else to be said about going back to trust, and specifically James. I mean, he's trusting us with his career, you know, and that is a really heavy thing to think about, especially this record in particular. I mean, the next year in general is really important for him, and it's not a band, it's him. And I think he knows that we all care about him so much, and that we value it like it was ours, sort of thing. And that's what makes it good to me, is that, you know, we know it's for James, but there's parts of us where it's for us too.
I think there's like this feeling of the revival of rock and roll in James's music, which is really cool. And I think that's what a lot of people are going to take away from it. At least that's what I want them to take away from it, because there's a lot of guys in the room that really love a lot of this old stuff, and they want to make it new, but they also want to sound like the old records they used to listen to. And I think people will hear that and they'll appreciate that and they'll love that.
Hopefully, at the end of this record, they want to listen to the whole thing again. I would.